I'd like to call the regular city council meeting to order for July 24th, 2023. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so good evening, everybody. First thing I would like to do is get the approval of the minutes from July 10th, 2023 for our regular city council meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Gary's making a motion to approve the minutes for the July 10th meeting.
I'll second that.
Donnie seconding the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to approve the minutes for the July 10th regular city council meeting. Is there any additions to the agenda this evening, you guys?
I did have 3 items, and I put them on the table. It's right behind your packet. It's 3 items for Holy Trinity. They're exempt permits for the carnival, steak and wine, and also their calendar.
Okay. So, grab my pen. Can I borrow your pen? Really quick.
Did the fire chief need to be on here too?
Yeah. But I don't see him here.
Maybe we could maybe cover that, maybe do that
You wanna
first.
add it, and if he's not here, then I guess we move on.
Okay, pen back.
I thought that was an email.
Yeah.
Also, is that it for your add-on?
Kyle was just mentioning the fire chief was going to be here. I didn't hear anything from him today that he wasn't, so.
Oh, maybe we'll wait. If he shows up, we can,
We should add it.
yeah, let's add it,
And then if
absolutely.
he's not here, then we'll just move on.
Okay, so we'd add for the fire chief. Scoop. I have a few items that I'd like to add on to the agenda. What I'd like to do is discuss some updating of our policies and procedures. And I got 4 specific items. And I know we have one coming up about the purchase dollar amounts for the city council approval. And I have 4 other ones if you want. I suppose I should probably label them individually. One would be the authorizations for our server. The second one would be supervisor reviews, department supervisors. The third one would be work with oral reprimands for employees. And then the last one would be the authority to view employee files, personnel files. So looks like there's a total of 6 of them. And then what we could probably put those at the bottom, Bob, I would think before the department ones. And then we can, if you want, we can do a Holy Trinity first. I guess that's going to be a quick one probably. And I'll have you explain. But if I could get approval of the additions.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda with the 3 Holy Trinity, the fire department, the updates to policies and procedures, and then purchase dollar amount, I think you said server access, supervisor review, oral reprimands, and what was your last one?
Authority to view employee
Authority
files.
to review employee files.
Don, there he is. We're just adding you to the agenda, Scoop. So if I could get a second on that?
I second it.
Gary seconds the motion. So all in favor of adding to the additions to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for the additions to the agenda. So I think the first one we could cover would be the Holy Trinity thing. Bob, if you have the information on that.
Sure, so every year they hold these three events. The first one is the Carnival. That's scheduled for March 24th of 2024. And that involves some gambling. That's bingo, paddle wheels, pull tabs, and a raffle. They also do a steak and wine event. They do not have the date on that application. Typically, that's in October, I believe. If anybody knows that date, I'm not sure. But.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
And the other event is the calendar, which kicks off on December 20th. So kind of a typical application from them.
Do we have to do all three or
We
separate?
can do them all together.
All three together? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve all three permits then for Holy Trinity.
So Kyle makes the motion to approve all three of the events for Holy Trinity.
Seconded.
Gary seconds it. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried to approve all three events for Holy Trinity. So the second thing on our agenda is Dr. Stein's memorial. And I see Dave, if you'd want to come up and sit and talk about it, or explain kind of what you were looking for.
Good evening. As you know, I've been working on the Dr. Stein Memorial. We're looking at our walking trail. We're dedicating that to Dr. R.J. Stein, who was a one-man show doctor in town for about 40 years. What I'm planning to do is get a bench out there. It would be a 4-foot bench. It would be coming from Little Falls Granite Works. It would be on a cement slab, and it would be permanent, no maintenance going forward. Total cost of that is going to be $53.50. Would have been more, I guess, we're tax exempt. I'm in the process of raising money through charitable gambling. I've already approached the Fire Relief Organization, and they've donated $2,000. I've approached the Buckman Trailblazers, and they've donated $1,500. I've got a request in for the Pierz Lions. Their meeting is the first Wednesday of the month, so I'll know what their donation is, if any, at that time. I also have a couple other associations I would present to if I need to yet. I presented to one, the Eastern Morrison County Four-Wheeler Club, and they don't meet until December. They don't give any money out until December. I can meet with them at that time if we need more. In order to proceed, we should have really gotten the go-ahead and sent Little Falls Granite Works a check of 60% down to meet the deadline of when we're planning this, which is the morning of Oktoberfest, the Sunday morning, is when we do the dedication at about 9:30 in the morning, just before the parade gets started. So what I'm looking for the council to do and the city to do is to upfront the money, to upfront the 60%, and then you would get that reimbursed at the time the charitable gambling comes through. And I believe you have 1,500 of that already. Correct, Bob? So, any questions on that?
Nothing from me. I think it's a good thing. We kind of, talked about the Dr. Stein dedication earlier, so something to show that, and if you're able to get most of that paid for.
The other thing we're looking at doing is getting a thank you to the groups that donated. I'm working with a local businessman now to do that, to come up with that. So that's going to, be a little bit more money. But I hopefully we'll have that covered with the charitable gambling donations. So
So you guys, Don, you got thoughts? Gary?
Well, originally, I guess I thought it was a pass-through, but it's not, because it's owned by the city. Or will be owned by
Right.
the city.
Right.
Yeah. And
Right.
So I was under the wrong, in my head, I was under the wrong,
right, it's a donation to the city. Correct.
where if for whatever reason everything doesn't come through, then the city is on the hook for what's ever left, compared to a pass-through is
Right,
money comes in, money goes out, and it's all done,
right,
like the fire department does for Oktoberfest.
yep.
Right. So I guess that would be a matter of, if the city is okay with, besides fronting the money, if, what happens if
Right.
all of it doesn't come in?
Right. I guess that'd be my concern.
There's 1850 left, right? It sounds like he's got
Yes,
one that meets soon and one
Yes.
that he could go to,
yes.
so I'm not too concerned about it. I think,
You, Gary?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm not real concerned about it if the money comes in, but I just don't want the city to be hooked on the 1850, I guess, but
Is there, I mean, I know, Dave, you're a reputable man and everything, so you're assured that we're gonna get reimbursed the balance of it?
I will continue to go to, I've only hit 3 charitable gambling groups right now. There's 3 more I could go to. There's one other I've gone to, and they've welcomed me back in December. So, I mean, it might take a couple of months if that's the case, if the Lions wouldn't come through. I would certainly suspect we get something there.
So, I guess, my suggestion would be, and I don't make the motions or anything, but maybe we can go forward with it, providing that, that we're reimbursed the balance or something, approve it to, that we would pay for it, knowing that we're gonna get paid the balance of,
If the balance come through?
yeah. But once the balance comes through,
Well, I don't know how.
I don't know how we
what are
do
you
it either.
asking?
Well, I hate to put the city on the hook for it, when we don't have any donations, we don't have any donation budget left. We used our whole budgets up. Dr. Stein was my doctor, and actually I graduated with Mary Stein, so I'm very familiar enough with the family. I just, I don't exactly know. I kind of have a little hard time paying for something that we approved. We approved for Dave to do it, and something that could have maybe been handled a couple of months ago. Raised the money and had it, and now we're kind of sitting here behind the 8 ball on it. But that's my thoughts on it. But Dave's assuring us we're gonna get reimbursed for it through donations. I guess I don't have,
could part of this, if there was 500 left, could part of it come out of our budget as of 1/1 of 2024? Or is the city willing to back something like this or
Well,
not?
yeah, honestly, Kyle, if I would be willing, Dave, if you'd be willing to pay for half of it, the balance, I would pay for half of it if we can get reimbursed and not put it on Pierz. I'd be willing to split the cost with you, and then we could just get refunded once you collect the balance of the money, however we get paid.
If we don't get it through charitable gambling, I will fund the remaining cost. 100% of it,
Well, that works for me.
if that's
He
what
was
you
just
need.
gonna give you half.
Yeah.
Nope. All right,
I'm just saying, Dave, he just said he would give you half.
okay. No, I'm confident that we'll get it.
So if we can get
I
a
mean-
motion, you guys, to do it, I mean, I don't have a problem with it, I guess. And it's up to you guys. How you
I'll
want
make
to
the motion to move forward with the memorial. With, I guess, if we don't get reimbursed for the full amount, Dave says he'll cover it. If that's in there, I guess.
Kyle makes a motion to move forward with the memorial, and if it doesn't get covered by charitable gambling or donations, Dave Fisher will cover the balance, personally cover it. Kyle makes that motion.
So just, I'll second it, but just, are we only writing the check out? Is Bob only writing the check out for 3,500 or whatever you need now?
60% of the 5330, which is about 3,500.
That's what he raised.
I mean,
Did you
that's,
raise, I think you raised 3,500.
Yeah, we got 1,500 of it already. So
Yeah.
are they donating to the city?
we've got 35 committed already.
That's
And they're
60%.
donating to the city, right?
Yes. Yes.
But I mean, we're not doing the whole check, we're only doing the 60%.
Sounds like
Okay.
they need it down.
But we'll need the balance when they complete the project,
Right.
so.
I'll second it.
Okay, Donnie seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Dave.
Welcome.
Thank you for explaining it. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Okay, so, so the next thing on the agenda, we have Eric Hennigan here, to talk about the cannabis dispensary. So Eric has done, Eric has done a lot of research, talking to cities, to counties on the current situation coming up August 1st, you guys. He's got some really good insight, from talking to different cities, counties, what have you, and he's here to let us know what everybody's kind of doing. And then, if not tonight, in the near future, we're going to have to make a decision ourselves for the city of Pierz. So, thank you, Eric.
Good evening, everybody. This has been a conversation for quite some time. A lot of other cities have been moving forward with the appropriate ordinances reference to cannabis. Prime example is Royalton is, I think, in the process of finishing it. I reached out to Duluth, spoke to Duluth, and then I also had a long conversation with Avon today. Avon has passed both their ordinance to prevent anybody from coming into their community for at least 2 years until January 1st of 2025. And that's when the Office of, I think it's called Cannabis Management, will have a process in place for cities to follow, reference to licensing and control of each cannabis retail shop in their community. So that would be the first one for the city to think about, how we're going to move forward with to deal with this cannabis that eventually is going to come to our community. And then the other one that I think is unique, that Avon, Royalton, Duluth, Benton County is doing one for the full county. They're actually putting a city ordinance in place to prevent somebody from, say if you took Oktoberfest for a prime example, during the parade, if anybody wanted to smoke marijuana, vape cannabis, or any vape products on a sidewalk would be completely illegal. You can't use it in any public place within the city of Pierz or city of Avon. And I think that's also a very important aspect to bring into this conversation to prevent somebody from standing, say, in front of Lloyd's Liquor, Thielen Meats, when there's other young people around where somebody's using cannabis, marijuana, or vaping products. So it's, I've done my homework. I put it all on you guys' desk. Number 4 and number 5 are both the Avon ones. They're clean, they're short, and they're very direct. Sartell's from Anna Gruber. They're very in-depth, but in Sartell, it does not stop them from using in public places. They only mention the public parks and different public organizations such as schools, daycare facilities. So I put it in front of you. I'd like you all to take a look, read it, and then figure out which way you think you guys want to move forward. And you're my bosses, so I just thought to throw this towards you and figure out a game plan how we can move forward as a city. But as the chief, I'm not a fan of having a cannabis shop in the city of Pierz. And I think it's just as important that if people are coming through our community, I don't want to see them standing on the sidewalks smoking a joint while they're in our community with our youth, our elderly that take care of Pierz and what really, provide good to the city of Pierz. So it's a conversation that I thought throw it towards you and figure out what you want me to do and how to move forward. Royalton's, I'm waiting to get copies of Royalton's, but Avon, I think her name was Jody. Does that ring a bell? She gave me hers. Also, if we do move forward, all it is copy and paste, insert Pierz, and it's easy for us to move forward with what we want to do.
And the Avon one is the one that
Avon is, that's the, it's page,
Is it 4 or
page
5?
number 4 and 5. One is the moratorium, reference to cannabis, and then the other one is using it in public places.
Okay.
They're actually short reads. They're very good. And Benton County's is short. I don't believe it's direct enough. Sartell's goes into depth, but Sartell's is really only going after the public parks. They're mentioning daycares and 1,000 feet from school. But it's just something that I think we need to move forward because it's
Yeah.
legal August 1st. And again, we have the right per the legislation, the read, that we can prevent it for at least 2 years, up to January 1st of 2025, and figure out a game plan how we want to move forward. Because I think it would even come to a planning and zoning question, reference to where we would want them allowed in our community if a cannabis shop did come in. So, and the other one that I'm waiting for is City Administrator Matt LeBlanc to see how he moves forward with the county to see if that helps us, like Benton County did, to put a full ordinance in effect for all of, Morrison County.
Yep. I did talk with, or had some emails going back, and I talked to Matt LeBlanc, and he approached us at our mayor's meetings that they want to know what cities in Morrison County would be interested in taking on a cannabis shop or permitting for it. I think it's every 12,500 people within the county, you have to allow one permit. And there isn't a city that's over that limit, but the county, we have around 34,000 people, so we have to allow 2 within the county. So Matt was wondering if Pierz would be one of the cities, or Royalton, or any of the cities that we currently work with within the county. Obviously, I think my opinion on the whole thing is that we just put a moratorium on it until January 1st, 2025, to let all the rules and regulations come out and give them a chance to, the state chance to put some stuff together for it. And then as far as and maybe Morrison County might come up with something here, but I think we need to make a move locally. And as far as if that's good enough with Eric for number 4 and number 5, we can have Bob, I think you could just write up and put our name in there instead of the city.
Well, like I spoke to Bob today too, though, I think we need to throw it to our city lawyer first.
Oh,
to ma-
okay.
To make sure they review it, and they were meeting. When I went on to League of Minnesota Cities, the ordinances are different from one city to another.
Oh, yeah.
And Avon's is really the cleanest, but I would ask that we have our city lawyer review it to make sure that it meets the legal need before we just put it in place, and I don't think that'd take long for it to do it, but
Is that okay? Is that something that we could have for the next, in 2 weeks for the next meeting, Bob? do you
I think that's realistic. I can give her
Okay.
that deadline.
Thank you.
And the other question that comes up when you have this conversation is they say we're gonna be losing money because we're not gonna allow a retailer in our community. Well, the way they're gonna split the money is 50% goes to the county, 50% goes to the cities, but it's 50% of all. But if you don't have any, you don't get any money. If Pierce had one, the little payback that we're gonna get as a retail shop isn't worth the headaches that it's gonna generate in the community, so.
Totally agree.
I thought I'd do my homework. We've talked about it for the last couple of months. I thought I'd propose it to you, and me and Bob will work with the city lawyer to figure out which ordinance we're gonna go with and the moratorium and move forward. But it'd be fun to get you guys' opinion maybe in a day or two, if you could just read number 4, number 5 to make sure that you agree with it. And then we'll send it off to the city lawyer and see what happens.
Okay. I will, I'll do email, take a look at it the next couple of days, and then I'll email you on how I feel, and then Bob on it, and I can blind copy everybody or whatever.
Any other questions for me?
No, I think you do, Eric, I think you
Awesome.
do a great job. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for your service. Okay. So the next thing on, the next thing on the docket is the purchasing a dollar amount for city council approval. Jackie had brought up at the last meeting about having a limit to where if the dollar amount goes over a certain amount, that Bob would have to get approval from the council. And I've talked to a couple of council members about it, and I mean, I guess I go back to my thoughts on it, is that we could probably come up with something, whereas we don't necessarily have to deal with the whole council. Bob could contact, if it's something at the park, Bob could contact me and Donnie, since we're on the park board, the 2 council members on the park board, then we don't have to have a special meeting for it. If it's something at Public Works that we need, that's over $2,500, Bob can make contact with Donnie or Gary or whatever. So It'd make things a lot more simple. The reason is just that we as a council want to be informed of expenses of that nature in case somebody comes up to us, or just that we know what's kind of going on within the city. The other thing would be, I realize that we buy seasonal items, and we can have seasonal stuff that goes over $2,500, and we know that's going to be an annual purchase. For example, like chemicals for the golf course. I don't know, Bob, they could be over $2,500. Fertilizer for the golf course could be over $2,500. Salt, sand, all that mosquito spray that gets sprayed at us, that could go over $2,500. So if we could take a look and, I don't know, Bob, if there's anything that you would, I mean, I'd like to dial it down so we kind of knew what it would be. So other than like chemicals, fertilizers, salt, sand, mosquito spray, do you see a lot of annual purchases that are reoccurring every year that are over $2,500? I guess I got a question too.
I guess not, I mean, exactly off the top of my head, but yeah, I just kind of glanced through the purchases from last month.
Oh,
You
good.
probably maybe did the same thing, but there's a lot of them over $1,000 that are just kind of every year things.
Oh, yeah, $1,000 we understand. I'm thinking like $2,500 bucks.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's
Right
several
now-
every
right
month,
now,
I
what's our-
guess.
What's our limit right now?
I don't know. There's really not been any direction from this council
You know
per
from the
se.
old days?
Years ago, it was 5,000. That's kind of what
Okay.
the number that I've been using informally.
We're talking about cutting in half, okay.
Yeah.
I just was wanting to know if we had, what number was, okay.
I would say 5 items like this a month, roughly, that aren't normal, I guess. Maybe that's a little on the high end, but 2 or 3.
As far as, what's that again?
Expenses over 2,500
Oh,
that aren't
yeah.
necessarily the ones that aren't every year. I'm just trying to give you an estimate,
Right.
like how many.
Right. So, yeah, so that's pretty reasonable then. So I don't, so, unless somebody else, unless when you guys have more input on this, I would think if we could do 20, and I totally understand the reoccurring expenses, if we could cover, like, do a $2,500 limit, and exempting, chemicals for the park, fertilizers, salt and sand, and mosquito, like, is mosquito spray over $2,500?
No.
So we could scratch that then. Okay. So the rest of them probably do it though, Bob?
I mean, when we buy products at the golf course, I mean, a lot of that alcohol, especially right away, is significant. So, I mean, there's.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, scratch mosquito spray, put alcohol.
I mean, there's equipment that gets purchased. You guys are
I
buying
don't know
stuff.
what you're gonna do if we have some tires that go out on the truck and we gotta do it. Are we gonna wait for a council meeting to fix them?
So it's for the fire department? You guys operate off a separate budget, or, I mean, or do we, I mean, I'm just,
It's the city's budget.
City
Yeah.
budget, Grafton pays 50.
well, probably if it's over $2,500, we probably,
Then let the
I don't,
truck sit there while-
I don't think we're saying you gotta wait for a council meeting.
no.
I think what he's saying is you have to, the 2 council members that are on your board,
So it'd be me and
you'd be
Donnie.
getting a hold of them, one of them or
Yeah.
both of them.
That doesn't-
So it happens at 2 in the morning, and please don't call at 2, prefer
Yeah, so-
6:30 in the morning, but
What I-
call and say, hey, we had this problem. We hit a deer, we got,
Yeah.
when we hit that cow that time, Dennis Callhammer, hey, we got a problem. I
Yeah,
think that's
so,
what he,
yeah,
that's what he's
when I
trying
said
to.
earlier, and I want to alleviate any council meetings, you don't have to do it, but just that we're aware of it, so if it's something that happened with the fire department, Scoop, you could just contact Donnie or me and just say, here's kind of the deal, I just want to let you know what's going on, so we're aware of it. Because there's been situations where we go to friends' houses, and they're telling us about high expenses that we don't know that we're incurring, and they're sitting there talking to a buddy, we're having a beer, and you're going, I didn't know anything about that, We just want to be aware of what's been spent, which I think is fair. So, if somebody wants to make a motion, it's a mouthful, but.
Should we put together the actual Or is it just gonna be a simple, you gotta
It's-
write some
it should be
policy
pretty-
up or
Um,
approve the policy with those things on there? Or do you wanna try and just put it all in the motion?
I would think we could just put in a motion, I would think, unless we need a policy change for it.
I don't know.
I don't know if we have a policy now starting with them.
Begin with,
Right.
Yeah,
I just make a motion, a courtesy phone call to a department,
yep,
and be done.
yeah.
Anything over the set dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
He's still waiting.
Me or you, Kyle? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll make the motion then.
It's one of us three, you're just gonna do,
With
two of us three are
the
doing it.
exempted items that he's got listed on, there, salt, sand, whatever else.
I can read them off, yeah.
So I'll
So-
make the motion, $2,500 with, anything over that, then approval from whoever's on that board.
On the committee.
So Kyle makes a motion for anything, expenses over $2,500 that is on the board be notified, and with the exemption of chemicals, fertilizer, salt, sand, and alcohol.
I'll second that.
Donnie seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, so we move on to fund transfers. And the first fund transfer would be $460,000 into the remaining new 9-hole costs. So, and I did talk about this earlier. I don't like the wording that it says remaining new 9-hole costs unless those are all the costs that are going to be remaining. So I would, if there is going to be additional costs beyond that 460,000, we would just be approving a $460,000 transfer.
Where do we have that coming from?
When you ask Bob,
Bob, where do we have that coming from?
So there's 283,000, 290,000 in the electric fund right now. There's 172 in the Third Avenue North project. Most of that is all of that is from the electric fund. There's some remaining expenses, as you know, coming still out of that Third Avenue North project fund. I would say you'd be comfortable taking 100 out of there right now if you wish. The other option is the solid waste fund has 35,000 as far as enterprise funds. The other option is the stormwater fund currently has 48,000 in it.
That wouldn't get us all 460. Is that what you're telling, but you're telling me we're doing 460?
so it says here on the agenda. Back it down a little bit.
That 460 will get spread out. I mean, a few months here coming up, but we do have significant costs in the greens mix. We have a piece of equipment to buy for about 35,000, and then final payment to the irrigation of roughly 50,000 for that. And right now, I guess the reason I brought it to the council is right now the fund is 75,000 to the negative, and that just shows up on paper. It's really not I mean, eventually we need to get that back to zero by
So-
doing transfers.
So instead of just saying we're doing the full 460 right now, we want to break that down to smaller payments.
That's for your discussion. I mean, you could certainly, it's cleaner, I guess, in my mind, if you do 100,000 at a time for the next few meetings until it settles down here. The greens mix is the big one. That's 150,000 is what's coming in the next month. So if you just want to simply just do 100,000 until, each meeting, certainly update this balance, every time I have a council meeting.
What do you think, Kyle?
Well, we kind of talked about it briefly at a finance committee meeting just right before this, and it's like, we're committed to getting this project done, and we want to get it done this fall, right? We want to get it seeded so that we can move forward. So at some point, we've got to spend that money, and I asked Bob how much we're going to spend in the next month or two, and it sounds like a lot of it, probably because we have green mix and piece of equipment, like he said. So you know, it's kind of in my mind, it's got to happen to just move this project forward. So we can do it in a smaller chunk now, and then probably in a couple months, you may probably be looking at another chunk, and that's fine with me if we want to break it up into a couple different ones.
In this 460 bubble, put us to that 1.3 million,
1.36, correct.
which is the projected cost of it.
That's
The
correct.
current projected cost of the course.
Or would you want to be going more right away?
Well, I mean, I'm fine, but we got to probably at least, you know, cover what we're technically over, which is 77, I can see. And then he's got 150 a green mix, that's coming in the next month. And 35 for a piece of equipment.
Final irrigation will be 50,000 as well, so.
So, I mean, you start adding that up. That's,
What are your thoughts, Gary?
I mean, I prefer smaller chunks as well, but I don't know, can we do 120,000 until the balance is up per month? Smaller chunks is easier to swallow.
Yeah, and I guess the 120 makes it even to the 460. It does give us time to bring some additional funds in. You know, it gives us a few more months to bring some money in as well to kind of cover it. But so I guess we need a motion on something.
You want to do the 120?
Well, is the council comfortable with 120 a month until,
We really don't have a choice.
I mean,
guess.
we're committed to the project, so
Yeah.
it's gonna have to
that's
be
what I
done.
said.
Well, and I didn't know if we want to do, instead of 120, if you want to do 240, because for 70 something in the hole. We got greens mix coming up at did you say 150?
I would estimate 300,000 over the next 2 months,
Yeah, I came up,
plus the negative 75 that's in there now, so.
I just took some of the numbers you were rattling off plus that, and I came up with 310 pretty quickly.
What are you comfortable with, Kyle? You're the money guy.
Well, it's like we said, it's got to come from somewhere, so it's just got to get done. So
I just and I totally agree with the council. I'm gonna have, once we go over the 1.3 million, I'm gonna have a really hard time stomaching stuff, because that was what it started at 800,000. Now it's 1 point. Now it's 1 point
started at 800,000,
880,000. So what did it start at, Dave?
1.1.
Was that what it started at, Donnie?
I guess I'd have to go back and look. I was
Was that what it
thinking,
was, Kyle?
I recall it was about $1 million, so
Was it?
somewhere in there.
So we're at 1 point. Regardless, we're at 1.3 million. I mean,
200 over.
yeah.
But we got nailed the first, when we ordered our piping, and before it ever came,
Yeah,
we paid through the nose, because everything.
COVID and
went-
inflation were not good to us. So,
Right.
but we gotta move forward and make this decision. So, how soon can we sell that dozer? I'm just curious when that'll come back in then.
We're gonna analyze that at the end of this fall, just to make sure we got everything wrapped up
Right.
and
That's what I was wondering, if that would fall into place and cover something, but
it might be advantageous just to hold on to it till the spring, just in case.
okay. That's just a question, so.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do 300 now. Just then monitor, and can you update us? Let's still get an update then every meeting and see where we're at. Or every month at least. So,
So with the 3, we're gonna take it from the 290 total, and then we're gonna take some out of the 172, or what are your
I think you
thoughts?
said 100 out of the 172 for sure, right?
And then take 200 out of the 290?
I
And
think
the
that would be,
electric fund you're looking at.
I think that would be reasonable.
And the 172 was which fund, Bob?
It's the
Third Avenue.
North Project Fund.
I say those are really the only two options right now,
Mhm.
looking at the numbers.
Will we know more in a couple months on the rest of the Third Avenue North stuff?
Certainly.
Okay.
I guess I would make a motion to take 200 out of the electric fund and 100 out of the Third Avenue North, and
Gary makes a motion to move 300,000 out of the existing funds to put towards the new 9.
I'll second that.
Donnie seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. The reason why I'm voting for this, you guys, is because we made a commitment. That's why I'm voting for this. Just to let everybody know, if we go over that 1.3 after this 460, I'm gonna have a problem with it. Okay, so the next thing up on our agenda is I'd like to update policies, a few of our policies and procedures if we have. Do I need to do something? Oh, the
It's that street
funds.
project.
Okay, sorry about that. So we have.
Crossed one of the two off, which you did.
Yeah, so we have, next up, we have funds for the 2024 street improvements. And I don't know if you want to touch base on that, Bob?
Sure, so we started that fund when the council decided to move forward with the design of that Third Avenue, or I'm sorry, the 2024 project. And we've transferred in 30,000 right now. We've done the feasibility study and started the design work. So I'm expecting a total of 193,000 for the engineering. 30% of that is coming from Ripsaw. So right now that fund is showing a negative balance of approximately $12,000, but we're probably going to have about 105,000 left to spend here in 2024. So if the council wants to consider a transfer now, that money originally has been coming out of the general fund, out of the streets. So we could certainly wait until that gets a little higher, as far as a negative amount, but they're not working a lot on it right now. I know that it's during construction season, but I would expect October, November that they're going to be done with the design of that. So that can certainly wait if you wish.
I guess I'd rather see it wait. Let's see where we're at.
That was my thought. Just let it wait until we have that stuff in place because we're gonna have to talk about bonding and everything else along the way, so. I'd make a motion to just leave that one alone then for
Table it.
now and table that and talk about it when we have more concrete numbers and knowledge of what we're gonna do to finance that whole project.
Kyle makes motion to table the funds for the 2024 street improvements project.
I'll second it.
Donnie seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so the next,
You got employee and you got
what-
chief.
I was gonna do, okay, we want to do
I don't care where you do 'em.
where do we move him? I thought I was gonna throw him
You-
into
you
departments,
You
but
didn't put them anywhere yet.
do you want to, you can go ahead, Scoop, if you want to talk. You ready?
He's just been sitting there looking
I know
good.
it. He's on his phone texting people.
Yeah, trying to figure this out. No. I only need some money. No. So I'm back. Bearer of bad news. We didn't get the grant for the truck, of course, so we're gonna have to move ahead. I think you guys got the email with the amount and stuff. So next year we're getting that, it's a one-time payment for emergency or public
and fire.
service payment, so that'll be like 30,000. So the new truck is 50,305 roughly. But we don't need the money today. I just need the okay to go ahead and order it. And they're a year out, so we won't need it till next July, the 25. So I just need to go ahead that, you or Bob can sign the form and then I'll send it off.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Actually, Eric, can you touch base real quick if you remember about the funding that you guys, that was awarded to you and Scoop, the $62,000?
It was a one-time payment to all law enforcement and fire emergency. I forget what our total amount was just over $60,000.
Mm-hmm.
But we have not received any input when it's going to arrive yet, though. I think Bob, I sent an email to Bob, so Bob's seen it too, but there's no input when that cash is gonna be in our hand, but they promised it would be this fiscal year.
Good.
And it goes to each city, and our amount was like $62,000 for a one-time payment.
That's fabulous.
And every city got that amount per pupil of their community.
So I would like to, because that's money that was given to us specifically for fire and police, in my view. And what I'd like to do, first off, if we could, is approve the thing for Scoop, for the truck. And then second, when we get those funds, I'd like to put that 62 and change or 16 change into the dedicated fund, split it between the fire and then split it between the police. So when Scoop's truck comes up, that we have the money, we're dedicated to holding it for them. So there's actually, I'd be looking for two separate motions.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
If
so
we want it
Donnie,
separate or not, or together.
oh, wait, yeah, I guess we
I
could,
mean,
if you want
I
to do
don't
them
know why you
together.
can't just say we're gonna split that
Yeah.
62,000 or 60, whatever thousand between fire and, between fire and police. Half goes into each dedicated account for safekeeping, I guess.
Perfect. Okay, Donnie makes a motion to take that, to approve the fire truck and
Oh.
to take the money and split the 60,000 and some change between the police department and the fire department in the dedicated funding when it arrives.
Second.
Kyle seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the other thing is we got our gear in finally.
Nice.
So they're going through it tonight and hopefully Wednesday night, we'll have everybody come down and make sure it fits and switch her out.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great news.
So the guys are upbeat, so that's good.
It's good.
And we've been busy, but got a great crew, so we're lucky.
What are you gonna do with all the old gear?
Well, a lot of it, you can't, it's
Can't
all,
build- Yeah,
it's all NFPA. It's, you can't sell it. So we'll probably keep like 5 or 6 sets upstairs, just, if we hire somebody with different
heights and
sizes.
Yep,
And
yep.
the rest donated, I guess, or, like to Third World like we did last time.
Yep, yep.
I don't even know what, talk to the Central Minnesota EMS or,
They say, yep,
see where you can,
sounds good.
or if you want to set at home or something.
Harry might want to set.
Harry, maybe you want to.
Yeah, I don't think we
You
have a
missed-
set big enough for him. He's pretty tall. Well, he might be able to wear your old uniforms.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Todd's maybe. We're good?
Absolutely. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thank you for letting.
Okay, now Don here, right?
Now you're up to employee stuff is
Okay,
how I wrote it,
now
because there
I'm
was
up
way
to-
too much things for me to write.
Yep. So now we're to updating some policies and procedures. So the first thing I'd like to, I'll just go down the list that I got here, is authorization for the server. And the reason why I'd like to update it, whether they're policies or procedures or what have you, is that Jackie, she isn't here tonight, but 2 weeks ago she talked about that we should maybe implement some checks and balances on some of our things that we do. And actually, I remember when we did the audit last year, that was one of the questions that the auditors did talk to me about too. They want to make sure that we have plenty of checks and balances within our organization. So anyhow, the first one I'd like to discuss with you guys is the authorization of the server. Currently, I think Bob, and tell me if I'm wrong, Bob, but Bob has the exclusive authorization to the server. And I'm thinking that maybe our city clerk should have authorization to it too, just so we have 2 people that would have access to it. So if nobody has a problem with that, I'll just get a motion, I guess, unless you got any questions.
So our server now is only Bob, and you'll
From-
have it so it's Bob and,
And Kyle currently, or whoever the clerk is.
Okay,
If Kyle's a clerk or whoever the next clerk is, they would too.
to go in and,
Yeah, so they have
Checks
access
and
to.
balances to
Yeah,
look.
so if Bob's on vacation or whatever, out of the office, we have somebody that can have authorization to go in there and get on it.
I'll make that motion for clerk and the city administrator to have access or authorization, I guess, what you're saying, on the
Yeah.
server.
Donnie makes a motion to allow access to the server with the city administrator and the city clerk.
A second that.
Gary seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The second one is supervisor reviews. And it changes, it's changed a lot of times over the years, where every supervisor or every employee got a review by the city council, but we're a growing community and we got more employees. And I think that currently the way it sits is that Bob gives all the supervisor reviews, and then the council gives Bob his review. I feel that we should have the, the, the board members of that particular department should be in on that review with Bob. So, for example, if it's Eric Etke, it would be Gary and Donnie and Bob. And actually, I think they just did it the other week. They did do it, and I think, how'd that, guys, it go pretty good?
Yeah, really good.
Yep. So then if it would be like Zach for me Zach at the golf course, it would be me, Donnie, and Bob. And I think that way, as a council, we're actually seeing what the reviews are, what's going on. You actually get to know the supervisors better. It's just one more contact with them. And then we have also some input on their performance. So I'd be looking for a motion for on the supervisory reviews to have the city administrator and the related council board members in on the supervisors' reviews.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Kyle makes a motion to have the city administrator and related council board members review the city supervisors.
Second that.
Gary seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So the third item would be oral reprimands. And that, I think currently, if somebody gets a written reprimand, it ends up in their file, basically for the span that they're employed by the city. I did some research on oral reprimands, and actually, Gary, could you explain where you work? You were talking about it, how they have it set up.
It just stays in the employee's file for a year.
Yep.
So-
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
That way there's just a paper trail of what's happened.
Which I actually talked about, I like that idea, that if somebody does get an oral reprimand, that they get something placed in their file detailing the oral reprimand, the date. I would suggest that it would stay in their file from the date of the reprimand for one calendar year. And I would like to make it retroactive, if I could, too. So I'd be looking for a motion for that.
Do they always do that? Just a year?
Yeah, well, Ryan.
You're the most detailed in it. We don't, I've never had it before, so that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, it's just how it goes, I guess.
It's pretty typical for most workplaces.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, typical?
It's deeper, it stays longer, but for oral, it's 1 year, it's removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shows in the record that Bob would be the one that has trashed it and it's removed from the file.
It just, well, So when Bob removes it, he's just gonna say, I removed this file on this date. He grinds it up so it's through the
He
shredder.
shreds
and
it, yeah.
Nobody ever knows it.
Just notes that he was in the file, doesn't have to say a purpose for review, and that's where it goes.
Sounds good to me. I'll make that motion then.
Can you make it retroactive?
Oh, well, I was going by what you had said, so.
Yeah, okay, good. So Donnie makes a
Whatever you
motion.
had, I was just,
Donnie makes a motion to, if somebody gets an oral reprimand, to have a written summary placed in the employee file from the date of the reprimand for 1 calendar year and to make it retroactive.
I'll second it.
Gary seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Did I miss something? Okay. The last one would be
Just discussing.
authority to review employee files. So currently, Bob has the authority, the exclusive authority to review the city administrator has the authority currently to review only to review employee files. So I think that since as a council, we have to approve pay wages, we have to also look at reviews, and sometimes we would like some more additional information on a certain employee. I feel that we should be able to access that. Now, we don't necessarily all have to go access it. Once again, I would go to the employee board. So what I would say is that Bob would have authority, and then also the people on the employee board would have the authority to review an employee file.
and that board is who?
I think, I got to think once. It's me and,
Is it Jackie or is it
yeah,
Kyle?
it's Jackie.
Or is it you?
I think it's me and Jackie. It's Jackie and I and then Bob.
Kyle, you got any thoughts on it?
No, not really. That's fine, I guess, if that's within our rights to do so as council members, so.
Well, and I don't necessarily think all council members should do it.
No.
No, that's not what
I'm okay
saying.
with that board because that board
It's
is
the
who's
board,
going
and,
to.
yeah, It makes sense if we're supposed to make decisions on raises and promotions and everything else. It's tough to manage if you not have all the facts, I guess, so.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Gary makes the motion for the authority to review files to be with the city administrator and the employee board.
I'll second.
Kyle seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And that is it for that. So then I believe we move on to the department reports. And Bob, it looks like you're up.
The only update then would be as far as the employee reviews, like Mayor indicated, we did the review for Eric Gaffke, so I'll be scheduling the other reviews then with the council members, so that's the only update I had.
Great. Thank you. Updates. Do we get anything from you, Sarah?
Not from me. Tony?
Oh,
Tony has an
sorry.
update.
I didn't see you on here.
For Tony's
Sorry
been
about
waiting
that.
patiently.
That's right, we actually got some good news.
Name not-
Right?
I'll put
Tony.
an asterisk and Tony there. All right.
Good evening.
Hey, Tony.
We got some applicants for assistant manager. We interviewed. We had 2 very good applicants. It was a very, very tough decision, but we decided to go ahead with Lydia Otrimba. She agreed to $19 an hour with an incentive increase in 3 months, I think.
And it was
For
50,
performance
50
review.
cents.
I believe so, yes. She can start, well, she works there currently, but she can start full-time starting August 14th.
And Gary and I sat in on the reviews, and we had a couple of really good candidates, and Lydia was fabulous. And I just want to say it really makes me feel good to see some of the energy that some of the younger community people have, and the work ethic, and just the willingness to work is really, really good to see that in the interview process.
Yeah, like I said, it was tough.
Oh yeah, I can see how it would
was-
be, yeah.
The two were very neck and neck. It came down to experience.
Yeah.
So that's what it.
So we need a motion to hire Lydia, and it would be at $19 an hour, and with the review in 6 months?
3 months.
3 months, with a review in 3 months to go up to, give her 50-cent raise to $19.50.
I'll make the motion to hire Miss Lydia.
Dottie makes the motion to hire Lydia.
A second it.
Gary seconds the motion to hire Lydia at $19 an hour with a 50-cent raise after a review in 3 months. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So we
Get
have an
some time
official
off.
now, we have an official
Oh, yeah,
second in
assistant.
command, assistant.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bob, make sure you
Thank
tell
you.
Tina she did a good job raising her.
That is all I
I'm
have.
sure you had something to do with it, Bob, but you know, you always got to give Tina the credit.
Absolutely.
oh, jeez.
Is there anything else for me?
I don't think so. You're
How's it
doing a
going?
great job,
Yeah, is it
though.
still
Yeah,
going okay
give us
down
a
there?
quick
It is.
update.
Busy?
How's it going down there?
Busy.
Good.
We like to see it. I don't know what this week is going to bring with our 90-degree weather, but the food
Heat.
has been going good. The alcohol's been going good.
And we're
People are
serving,
happy.
we're serving the additional drink
Yes,
alcohol
Bloody
now, I
Marys
guess.
are really popular in the morning at like 7 a.m.
Kyle, I personally tested, not the
That's
bloodies,
that-
no, not
yeah,
the
yeah.
bloodies, but I have tested the alcohol, and it's just
Okay.
as good as anywhere else.
All right, good deal.
So next thing we'll be asking is for more room. No.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
You
Thanks.
didn't bring any
Tony.
receipts with you for anything?
No,
Okay.
we got it. Thank you.
I, bel-
Want to
Well-
let Dave do an update on golf course?
do you want to do a quick update, Dave?
I can.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I mean, it looked, the last time I saw it, I saw some level spots and I thought, damn, there's not even a rock there. So I'm,
Yeah, rocks. We have a lot of rocks out there. We're removing rocks. So one of the priority things we're doing right now, we did have somebody in with a rock picker, and we think very much so that that's going to work well. The issue is lack of rain. We're very, very dry out there. You drive a golf cart out there, or I go out there with my Ranger, you drive a truck or a tractor or anything out there, you're creating a dust pile. People golfing number 2 fairway are probably a little upset because there's dust floating over there when the wind's in the south or southwest. But right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get irrigation to finish off their project. They have about a day of irrigation to do on number 18 fairway from about 200 yards out into the green, and then they need to hook us up and get us going. That won't happen before next week right now, but we're hoping it happens next week. So that's kind of the big thing we're pushing to get done. We're working on the greens and the tees. We're getting them ready for seeding. We've got almost all of the drainage laid in all the tees, or on all the greens, excuse me. We have 1.5 greens left to go. Then we'll be back to picking rocks around the edges of the greens and getting ready for the sod and seeding. So we're moving along. We could use a little rain, could use a little watering. It would help us a lot right now. Things are starting to set up pretty hard out there. So, but we're moving along. So
good to hear.
On track to seed them?
yeah, we've got about 3 weeks worth of work, or 3 weeks before we want to start seeding. And we can push that back to 4. And we have 3 to 4 weeks worth of work. We'll get the green seeded first, then we'll get the tees seeded, and then we'll probably get the fairways seeded. So those are a little less critical. Any questions?
Oh, it's great.
Any word on the bulldozer getting fixed?
We were supposed to get it back today. We didn't. I have not had a response yet on my text message from this morning,
Sure.
to be honest with you.
Well,
So,
hopefully they get back to you tomorrow.
What we did is we do have a smaller dozer up there, and we're doing more finish work with that. We maybe got another day or two of work we can do with that, and then we need the big one back to finish off the fairways. But I'm hoping to get it back tomorrow. I was told we'd get it back today. We didn't. What you deal with.
Yeah.
So,
Unexpected things happen. I think it's gonna look really slick when it's done. I think you've been doing a really fine job, so.
thanks. So, okay, any other questions?
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
All right,
Thank
bring
you.
us some rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What they're dancing for rain tonight.
Can you do a rain dance? Maybe the elephant coming in tomorrow can.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so unless somebody else would like to speak or anything, I think we're done. Then we'll have our closed meeting.
Oh, that's right.
I know it. Yeah, right. Exciting, huh? Okay, so I guess Donnie, we missed.
I'll
Wait,
make a
hang
motion.
on 1 second. We missed you last week. I had to get Gary to do it, and it was like pulling
You wait
teeth.
an extra couple of seconds?
I did for you.
He did. He dragged it out.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it right.
No, not like you. Okay, go hit it.
I'll make the motion to adjourn this meeting so we can open up a closed session meeting.
Okay, Donnie makes a motion to close the current meeting and open up a closed session.
Second it.
Gary seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.